Which is better, paid search or paid social?
Let's talk about that.
So, which is better?
Obviously, paid social.
Let's count down. 3, 2, 1. Paid search. You didn't say.
I don't know what I was meant to say. Okay.
Paid social was the answer. Okay, you ready?
Search, actually.
Yeah. I agree, right? Thanks for joining us today. No, okay. So which is better? You give your answer, I give my answer. 3, 2, 1.
Paid
search.
social.
Oh, yeah, see? But is it? Which one? What do you think? You're going to say paid social. I'm going to say paid search. But what's the real answer?
The real answer is that they both complement each other.
Yeah.
Don't they?
They do.
So it's
Even
not one
today,
or the other.
Like 10 years ago, it was true. Today, it's true.
Yeah, and I think the reason why it was true back then and it still is now is because ultimately we are talking to people.
Yeah.
We're putting ads, messages in front of people.
Yeah.
Every person is on a buyer journey. There's marketing psychology involved. That's never going to change.
Yeah. That's true.
So, yeah.
Okay, and that's a wrap. No. But I think it's really, what's interesting is actually, so we've both had experience of where we've been siloed from each other, not here, but in other previous roles. And I think that perhaps happened a lot 10 years ago and maybe before. I think even, as we talked about the funnel, there was always that understanding that you brought the awareness, you created the demand, I captured that demand. And that I think hasn't particularly changed, but the funnel, I think we'd agree, is perhaps it's got a bit messier. I think the concepts are still the same of a buyer journey, but how people interact at different levels is perhaps changing. Would you agree?
Yes. We do have a messy middle.
We do have a messy middle.
For one. But yeah, I think that ultimately with search, it's already somebody that is aware that they have a problem and they're looking for a solution.
Yes.
So that kind of mid to lower funnel part of the journey, would you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Where search comes in more so. And
I think when we're talking about paid search and paid social, we're not just talking about Meta and Google either. Search is happening in so many different places too. So
yes, like TikTok.
Yeah, YouTube, Bing, and paid social, it kind of crosses over a little bit. I think I remember even a couple of years ago, like trying to understand, is YouTube paid social or is YouTube paid search? Yeah, like it's definitely, and I think so now we're working more cohesively, us two, and hopefully other people as well. But it definitely is to the benefit.
Mm-hmm. But why paid social is definitely better.
Yeah.
It's because it can do all of it.
Yeah.
It can do the awareness, the consideration, and it can do the conversion.
That
doesn't mean that it's better, but it is full funnel.
Yeah.
So it is great at somebody that doesn't know what a hot tub is.
Yeah.
Doesn't know that they need or want a hot tub yet. We can put some really nice video ads out in front of them across social.
Yeah.
And they're like, I hadn't thought about that. Now I'm going to go Google it and go and find my nearest...
Or Bing it.
Yeah. Search it.
Yeah. I think that's definitely true. And I have bought stuff directly off Instagram. Like I haven't even gone... I might go to Google to like check the reviews.
Yeah.
Because I don't always believe in the Instagram reviews or whatever. But I think that's so true.
Yeah, and a big part of what plays into the buyer journey and where there may be differences in that and nuances is the cost of that purchase. So if it's an impulse buy, you might go through that full journey in the space of 30 seconds. That's very rapid.
That's an impulse
30
buy.
minutes. You could get an ad on Instagram, not even thinking about purchasing that product. But if it's like 50 quid or less, you could have purchased it within half an hour.
Yeah.
a hot tub where it's 5-10 grand,
Yeah.
you probably are going to be doing a lot more Googling to research.
Yeah, and go and see.
Even go and actually see the hot tub and try the hot tub in the showroom.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I think for me, one of the things I really like, so one of the reasons I got into paid search was I liked the fact that it was a level playing field for brands and people could like compete against the bigger brands. It really leveled that out. And I think that's what I like about social is that I've been introduced to so many new brands that I wouldn't have found without intent research driving keyword. And I really love that too. I think that's where it can be, and as long as we're talking, and I can tell you, oh, I see this keyword coming up, or you can say, I can see this trend coming up, we can really make sure that that is a cohesive journey for the brands that we work with.
Yeah, definitely.
Before we go any further, if you're enjoying today's Tea Talk, you'll love our Grow with Evergreen podcast. Specifically created for home, garden and lifestyle brands, it's a podcast dedicated to discussing paid media and marketing. Every episode, we're joined by a brand that wants to grow online. We delve into their business, dissect what they're doing and define a digital growth strategy they can take and deploy into their business. And best of all, you get to listen or watch along, then take those learnings into your own business. Make sure you check it out on YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But for now, let's get back to today's Tea Talk.
That's a really nice segue into actually talking more specifically about how we actually do work together on our client campaigns across search and social. So obviously, we've got that knowledge sharing, cross-channel sharing. And why I love social is because of that creative element. And also, it is becoming so much more accessible for brands now on social. So I think a lot of people before were maybe quite scared about, I need to have creative to do social. I don't have any skills or money to be able to do that, but there's like so many platforms now. I'm going to be talking about this with Erin later around like accessible creatives. So small brands, even Meta within the platform, you can take an image and make it more dynamic, add text overlays and things like that. So it's a lot more accessible. But in terms of how we work together, typically, as social is a creative first platform, we will develop a creative brief for our creative team. And then you do something with that creative too.
Yeah, I do. Believe. Yeah. I'll put it wherever I can, to be honest with you. But yeah, now I think that's where Google is evolved so much, and Microsoft is following, where you can, the YouTube demand gen, which I'm starting to fall a little bit in love with, even over on PMax, Performance Max. So yeah, I think, and I love the feedback. Like, so when you say this ad, that creative's working well, and I can go and have a look and be like, okay, yeah, I can see the same engagement or different engagement. Sometimes it does happen. But.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So we get cohesiveness across the brand on different channels. So the different touch points that prospect customers going on, that helps nudge them along the customer journey. But also, those cross-channel learnings as well. So, we're looking at, we can, for low cost and speed, test in Meta to inform other channels.
Yeah, I love that.
We can relay, whether that's you using the creative that because we'll be testing lots of creative iterations. There might be that we tried one creative, we'll try a new creative iteration, and then we can say to you, you might want to update PMax or whatever with this. But then also from a messaging perspective.
Yes. And the other,
like copy.
Yeah, I really like, I love, do you know what, that's one of my favourite things is the shared copy thing. Like, because as a user as well, I really like seeing an ad in one place and then seeing the same, almost the same. It feels like a better journey for me.
And I'm introducing a new process, which means that you'll be able to see, before our ads even go live, you'll be able to see exactly like what is going to go live, what the messaging is, all of that kind of thing, so that we can align on that basis. But then also we'll be updating that then with any iterations that we do. So essentially, like, you'll just have a go-to place in real time where you can pull from for your stuff.
Thanks. Feels like breaking news. And then we're also testing a few other things, aren't we? So we've got the data test.
Yes.
That's exciting. No results yet, but where we can see the impact.
The impact, yeah. So we are pulling. So at the moment, we're testing for people that interact with a social ad. If they then either click on that ad or view that ad in Meta's attribution window, then go on to Google and then Google that brand. And then I can see in Meta how many people have seen that ad and then searched on Google or Bing, whatever.
But for now, we're just in Google.
We are just in Google as part of the test, yes. So we're going to like phase out the rollout. And then the next step is that we're going to then separate out those from organic and paid. So more specifically your paid activity and what we're driving through there. And then step 3 is that we'll be able to see somebody sees or interacts with a Meta ad, they then Google and then they complete a, let's say, purchase. So it's like the Google last click purchase, but how Meta impacted on that.
Yeah. I'm really excited because all bundled up into that, we'll start to really understand brand uplift as well from Meta. And I love brand uplift.
And collaboration. So key takeaways on how we are collaborating across social and search. We are considering that customer journey.
Yes. Yeah.
And we are complementing one another in terms of multiple touch points and meeting that customer at the right time in their journey.
We're thinking about how our brands present as well, and with the shared creative.
Yeah, cross-channel sharing and learning. Yeah. So what we see working in social, we will pass on that information to you and back and forth. So we have that feedback loop, which is really cool, and I think clients really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think I would though, wouldn't you?
Do collaborate, and we are literally sat next to each other in the office talking about these accounts all day, every day.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we literally do. Yeah, I don't.
We're not making it up.
I think I only just about know your name, but I know the accounts.
What's the third and final takeaway? I feel like there needs to be like 3 key takeaways.
So we've got collaborative, we share.
Yeah.
We are always testing. And we don't think one's better than the other. Thank you for joining us today, everyone. We were here anyway.
I'm loving the fact that we're taking over.
Yeah, I'm loving the fact we're taking over.
There is an uncut that you will see me and Lou we're just gradually taking over more and more as we progress. So this is our first takeover on Tea Talks.
Not our last.
No, I'm quietly confident that the data will show that we should probably come back and collaborate on one of these again.
Yeah, just keep collaborating all the time. So if you enjoyed this, please go and look at our other content. My favourites are our uncuts because they make me laugh so much. But there's lots of other interesting content that we release on a regular basis, talking to home, lifestyle and garden brands. So please go and like and subscribe even. We're on the 1,000 creep. So yeah, we'd love to see you there.
See you next time.
Bye.